I always start shows like this when I know that we have a difficult conversation ahead. I say, this is why I love the Tam Fam, because we always need somebody to lean on. And today we are talking with the award-winning radio show host, comedian, actor, philanthropist, somebody that I've admired my entire career, Rickey Smiley. Almost 20 years ago, Rickey started the Rickey Smiley Morning Show, which quickly became one of the fastest growing radio programs in the nation, reaching more than 10 million people every day. In fact, his fans tweet out all the time. One person said, "I'm in love with the Rickey Smiley Show. Literally gets my day started." He is the kind of voice, the kind of person that wants you to wake up with joy in your life. That's a big part of his message and how he uses his platform. But about 6 weeks ago, Rickey Smiley revealed to his fans devastating news. His oldest son, Brandon, had suddenly died. And Rickey posted a gut-wrenching video that I saw and the world saw on his social media.
Hey, I just have to, just have bad news this morning. I'm on my way to the airport to get to Birmingham. I just want everybody to pray for me. Pray for our family. My son, Brandon Smiley, has passed away this morning.
The outpouring of love and support was immediate as Rickey continued to share his journey of even laying his oldest son to rest. A heartbreaking moment, in fact, included him taking his fans, the people who love him and root for him, to the funeral on his social media. Take a look.
I had to go back there and look in the closet, get a pack of t-shirts, underwear, socks to bury his son in.
Rickey is here in hopes of helping other parents who are dealing with grief. Tam Fam, please welcome NAACP Image Award winner and father, Rickey Smiley.
Thank you.
Obviously, we are so sorry for your loss, and I have to tell you one thing we've learned over the years, and people grieve differently.
Right.
There's no formula for grief. Your decision to let it out in this way, was it a spontaneous decision? Was it something that you hit the video and you say, maybe I'm gonna send it, maybe I'm not? Take me through.
Yeah. Well, my son is a comedian. He was a comedian. He had fans. We had a reality show.
Following in your footsteps.
Yeah, following my footsteps. We had 6 seasons on TV One. You know, Rickey Smiley for real, and I'm always on social media talking to the fans and just doing little simple, small, fun stuff. And that was a moment that I just wanted to share because I knew that at some point we was going to have to start trying to get the message out to try to save more lives. And I wanted to tell the fans before anybody else did. You know, I didn't want them to hear it from anybody else. I wanted them to hear it from me. And so I decided to share it.
It was actually my mother, who lives in Texas, who called me immediately and said, I just heard something. Rickey's son, Brandon, 32, has passed away.
Yeah.
And the minute you hear a 32-year-old seemingly healthy, the question becomes, what happened?
Yeah, he was just struggling for years, had been struggling probably since the 11th grade
Struggling
with addiction. You know, and it had gotten to a point where his mother and he has a wonderful mother and father that lives in Atlanta.
You co-parent with Brenda.
Yes.
And her husband, his stepdad.
Yes.
So it's a trifecta of love.
Yes.
That was around him on these dark days.
And his, you know, and his mother, you know, really stuck with him. Even when I threw my hands up, you know, on those bad days and said, I can't do it anymore, I'm tired, you know, because it's always conflict when you're dealing with somebody that's struggling.
I think you just did something that I wasn't expecting that is so powerful for people who have family members who are struggling with addiction.
Yeah.
I think it is, to be honest, in most cases, there's someone at some point, no matter how deeply you love, that you feel like, I don't know what else to do. People have been there. It's been in my family,
Yeah.
where someone is struggling with an addiction and you love them, you're rooting for them, and you do everything you can, but you're only human. Tell me, what was that battle like, trying to save Brandon's life?
It was hard. It was expensive. You know, it's not cheap sending, you know, your son off to rehab. I sent him off twice. His mother sent him, I think, twice. Comedian Special K on my morning show was working with his mother to send him off. And I think he went a couple of times himself. He was trying his best to get himself together. He had just got baptized probably about a month and a half ago.
When did you learn of his addiction?
I would find little stuff in the house, bongs, beer cans, or whatever. And it was just going through that rebellion. I thought it was just going through the rebellion stage. Say, hey, don't do this. Well, since you say don't do it, I'm gonna do it, or whatever. He's a great kid, loving, you know, always yes sir, no sir, very respectful, but he just had that rebellious side.
I know so many parents right now who are dealing with this right now, and they don't want to lose their children, and you don't want another family to go through what you've experienced. So you're finding these things, and it starts to escalate over time.
Yeah.
His addiction.
Yeah, because once he got out of college and started working, it was like I knew, because I always had my ear to the streets. So I would have these conversations with him a lot and talk about what I saw my granddad go through with my dad.
You lost your father.
I did.
In New York, right? He was in New York, an act of violence. He was killed.
Right.
And so your grandfather lost his son.
Lost his son.
And you didn't want to follow that family trauma and pain.
Right. Yeah, I was really close to my grandfather, passed away 3 years ago. I watched my grandfather go through this with my dad, and I remember 1974 more than I do 6 weeks ago with my son. Watching my grandfather go through what he went through with my dad was just heartbreaking. Sitting there on that front row, 7 years old, looking down the aisle, could not understand why my grandparents was crying like that. And I just did not want to go through that with my son. And, you know, and here we are.